Hi, this is Glenda. This is mostly a video for our Papermates group for next time we meet. I chose the topic of mason jars, and that extends to bell jars and bottles because that's what I happen to have in the way of dies and stamps. I don't have many. So what inspired this originally, I saw Live Love Scrap do some cards with this die. It's a Sizzix Fold-a-long die, so I was inspired to go and find it and buy it, which is very enabling. And I have to say, the first couple of cards I made, I wasn't particularly impressed with. You pretty much need a belly band or something to keep it closed, and I just did a simple happy birthday. And this is a fairly thick card, and it's cracked quite a bit because there's quite a bit of folding in it. So that was one of them, and I also did this one this time on a thinner card, which worked a lot better, and it's again very simple. It's a little bit difficult to put a lot of decoration on it because it's sort of got so much going on and folding, and anyway, that's what I did. So I did those when I first got it, and then I've moved on with all this mason jar, trying to see what else I can do. The sample on it, the extra dies are really uninspiring. It's got a B mine, a couple of hearts and a B, and the rest of it is purely for making the card. And B mine, it's like Valentine's. What else? You know, it's a love card. What else could you put that sentiment on? So I didn't really think that through. Obviously it doesn't come with any of these flowers or anything. So anyway, I've done this one. This time I put a little paper clip to close it, and it just says thanks, and I put a little terrarium in the card. So and this is the other one that's made just from the basic way you're supposed to make it, and I put a little shaker inside it, which is the other thing that inspired this. Is I just got a fuse tool, so I'll go on to that in a second. But trying to work out what I can do with the dies I've got, which are so few. Well, the basic die in this, the outside part is this die, and you need a 6x11 piece of paper, ladies, if you want to do this. So you need a 6x11 for your base, so that could be single or double-sided. As I say, this highly sort of embossed paper is cracking too much, and the other part is the one, the pop out bit for the middle, which is this size. So you know how to get some more variety out of it. Well, if you use just the smaller part and cut it on the fold, you can make a small card on its own like that, or the insert for the standard card. Then we'll move on to the shakers separately. This one I used just the outside and cut it on a fold that way, so that you can make a bigger card, and you could equally do it on the top there. It doesn't cut there, you'd have to trim that bit. Well, either way, you've got to trim that bit if you're going to do this. So that was another shaker, and I used the centre part to cut out my window for my shaker. So this one for the shaker, again, I used the middle part, and the same for this one. So I'll put the shakers aside and come back to them, but that's what I managed to get out of this. You can do several shapes out of this die. So moving on, I also have this Sizzix bell jar, and I made this one, which is completely hollow, and this one, which is a shaker. The problem with this is it cuts out both pieces on one. So to try and get it to cut hole out, you can't get it all the way to the middle of a card because then you hit the pedestal, so it's kind of to one side. So that's a bit of an issue with that. You're really limited to cutting out these two shapes. But the other thing I did was to cut out a template of that and use it for making this part, which again I'll come back to. So that's just a complete hollow and then put a cupcake in it. So that's that idea. The only other one I've got is this Daily Bread one, and these are the two that I've done with that. Again, a shaker, and this is just vellum. And I thought I was going to be able to use this to make all sorts, but basically you can only cut it out. You can't cut out a window because it's got these holes in it for lining up, so it's not as flexible as you would think. And then when I came to stamping, I couldn't put anything like flowers coming out of the vase, out of the bottle, because it's got a cork in it. So I found it far more limiting than I originally thought, which is why to do the flowers I had to cut a vellum bottle. And this is the bottle, which is the other die in the set, and I used it with my fuse tool to make the pocket. Again, I'll come back to the pockets. The other thing I did was to simply cut out this one with my scan and cut, and I'm pretty sure I offered this file when I did shaker cards some time back. So these two are both from that, and completely different look, but they both started out as this white piece of paper with in this case, a green jar on it, and they're both shakers. So that was the mason jars. Now the fuse tool. I'm having mixed results. I have to say the absolute best results I got, if I can find it, was putting sequins in it. That's a proper shaker card, and it's nice and flat, and that was definitely the best result. Now, to do any of these ones, this one had the perfect amount of sand in it, which actually worked quite well for my meerkat to stand on, but when I put this last little bit of sticking it in, it pushed the sand up, and now he's standing in the sand instead of on the sand, which was a bit sad. And I have put foam tape on this one because the bulk of the sand made it a bit thick. All these others are very thin and not so dimensional. I did put some foam tape there just to raise the layer. But most of them are not shakers. They just don't shake. So I thought really flat things would work, but they've actually got to be flat and slippery. Yeah, things like glitter will cloud the windows. See, these buttons, the actual buttons move, but my paper buttons don't. Even though I put a couple of resin bits in there to try and kind of make it stand up, it's not. But anyway, I've been playing. This has worked really well. It doesn't shake, but to put the thick glitter in it was very effective. So with the fuse tool, now to separate my pockets. Okay, so all of these, I used the round wheel, and all it does is fuse the sides of the pockets, and then you can cut around the edge and leave some, because you want to leave something doing it with a window like this. You want something to stick it to. So you do your fuse edging, and then there's a bit of extra plastic out the side. You don't trim it too closely. I've had some slightly mixed results with how well it fused. It certainly has to be hot enough. You don't wait long enough, it won't fuse. So it's at least the 10 minutes that they say. I wasn't going to put water in it, but I wanted a watery look, so I actually put some stickles on the inside of my pocket and left it open, like I put stickles on both sides, left it open to dry overnight, and then fused my pocket together and put some sand in. And it's a mixed result. It's really my fish disappears, but hey, I'm learning. Yeah, this one, again, paper buttons, and they just don't shake. They look cute, but they don't shake. But sequins, yeah, really shake well. So all of those, the round wheel and leaving some edge on it to stick it down. Then I watched someone use the pointed bit on it, and it will fuse and cut at the same time. So that's how I got these, and they are actually like it's a sheer edge, and I really quite like that. As I say, it's not a shaker. This has done this one I actually did with the fuse wheel and then trimmed it off, and it's nowhere near as neat. So that was another learning experience. And here's where I used the template, and I traced around with the pointed tip onto my plastic, and that's another sort of freestanding one again. So that's what our ladies will have to play with, is these few dies that I've got plus the fuse tool. So hopefully that's given them some ideas of the sorts of papers and things they might want to bring with them. Some sequins and things to put in shaker cards, and any stamps and dies that have anything to do with jars, basically. And hopefully we'll have fun doing that at our next session. So if you watched, even though you're not a paper mater, thanks for watching. And if you are a paper mater, I'll see you in about 3 weeks' time. Thanks very much.